Is this a good time to buy a home in Boise? Well, I want to talk about that right now. Okay, so the coronavirus has freaked all of us out. We're all staying at home, social distancing. People are getting sick. They're losing their jobs. It's been a mess. And in the middle of all this, maybe you're thinking, is this even a good time to buy? Well, here's 3 points that I think you should consider. Number 1, do you have a good enough reason to buy? Do you need to relocate because of a job? Or maybe to be closer to some elderly parents that you need to take care of? Do you need to downsize? Perhaps you need a bigger house. Your family's grown, or your kids have grown up a bit and you need more space. Or maybe you don't like the area of town that you're in right now. All of those are good reasons. Some of them might just have different levels of urgency. The next point to consider is, can you afford to buy a home? Typically, people that buy a home as their primary residence can get in with 10% down. So in Boise, the median price on a single family home is about $360,000. So on the lower end, a 1,000 square foot condo or townhome is in the $220,000 range. And an entry-level 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,300 square foot home is in the $275,000 range. Now, just to put that into perspective, last summer, so 10 months ago, those homes were going for about $250,000. In Meridian, the prices are similar, just a little bit lower. An entry-level home, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,300 square foot is about $260,000, that range. And then in Nampa, they're lower than that. So you can find houses, entry-level homes for $250,000. So can you afford to buy a home now? Do you have anywhere between $27,000 to $40,000 to put as a down payment on a home? Now keep in mind, there's also closing costs, and those are typically 2 to 3% of the purchase price. So add that to the cash that you need to buy a home. So maybe you have a good reason to buy a house, and maybe you can afford to buy a house, but maybe you also have the luxury of being able to wait if the conditions were right. So your question is, should I wait? Well, here's the third point to consider. Will you be able to afford a home next year? Here's an interesting piece of information that I read that I wanted to share with you. There's a company called Veros that a lot of real estate professionals are familiar with. Well, they just came out with their forecast for the next year. And they're predicting that across the United States, housing prices will rise on average 1.9%. And where do you think Boise sits in relation to that average? Do you think the prices will rise higher than the average, lower than the average? Are they in the top 50 housing markets, top 25, top 10? They're actually number 1. According to their data, Boise will see the largest price increases than any other housing market in the United States. They're predicting that house prices will rise 7.6% over the next year. Now, if you compare that to last year, it's about half of what we saw. Last year, house prices went up about 14%. But still, Boise is predicted to have the highest price increases over the next year. And why is that? It's because of the low inventory. As I said in my last video, we have anywhere between 2 weeks to 6 weeks worth of inventory. So very low inventory, but very high demand. And here's another point to remember. The interest rates on mortgages is very low. It's at about 3.25% on average. So if you can afford to buy a home and you have a good enough reason to buy a home, I think this is a great time to buy one. If you're interested in looking at homes for yourself here in the Treasure Valley, I'm going to throw in a link down there to our website. Just click on that link, it'll ask for your email address, and you'll be able to search the entire MLS and keep tabs on the housing market and search for something on your own, and you might even find something that you like. So thanks for watching this video. Be sure to click that little red button down below and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.